everybody, welcome back to Dakota Does Dressage. I'm really hoping that this is not an exciting video today. Things this spring have been so crazy with Dakota. It's nothing I would have ever expected. And the last couple of times I've been up here, it hasn't worked out that I've been able to set up my equipment. There's been a lot of people here because it's spring, and I don't want to be like in the way. I'm at a boarding facility. I want everyone to feel comfortable doing their own thing. So I haven't set up the camera each time I've been up here. So let me recap for you what's been going on. So Dakota was diagnosed with Lyme disease back like the end of March. I started him on doxycycline, which is an antibiotic. And for anyone who's not aware, Lyme disease is transmitted by ticks. And it's not uncommon in the area that I live in the United States, although I've never before had a horse that was diagnosed with Lyme disease. So this is my first experience with it. But essentially the main symptom that Dakota was exhibiting over the winter was that he was lethargic. I would ride him and things seemed pretty normal, except that he just felt like he had no energy. So he was really trying for me. He just didn't have the energy there to keep going. We treated him for the Lyme disease starting in April. That was a month-long process, and that was basically just a grain additive. I didn't have him on any grain. He hasn't been on grain for several years. He's a very easy keeper, and I feel like I haven't been riding him that much or that rigorously to really warrant putting him on any grain. Grain was new, the antibiotic was new, also the spring grass was coming in, and right towards the middle of April, end of April, the horses were introduced slowly to the spring pastures. And he started showing the behavior that I'm going to tell you about here in a minute. I was thinking about all of those things. Could this just be his response to a gastrointestinal discomfort, which would be technically colic? So I monitored him very closely for that. He continued to pass manure normally. He didn't really show any signs of colic, except that I did get a call one day that he was kind of laying down in the field and not acting quite right, but he was given some Banamine and walked, and when I could get up here, I checked on him, and at that point, he was totally fine. So other than that, the other things he's been doing that's been kind of strange for him is when I tack him up to ride in my new saddle, he's been parking out. So after I cinch him up, and I don't go cranking on the girth, I gently cinch him, and then I keep kind of pulling that tighter until I'm ready to get on, and he's had a chance to walk and kind of acclimate to having that girth pressure. It's never been a problem in the past. What's normal for him in the past has been right when I first tighten it up, he'll kind of put his neck up in the air like this, but he's never tried to bite. He's never tried to kick or really get away from being cinched up in any way. But that's kind of changed. The last time I was up here, I put the saddle on, I cinched him up, and instead of just kind of gently parking out like he's been doing, he had a much bigger response to where he shot his front feet straight out in front of him. His neck went straight up in the air. He was clearly in pain. This was not a normal reaction for him to being cinched. And it was almost to the point where I felt like if I didn't uncinch him right away, was he going to try to rear up in the cross ties? And that's a really frightening thing. He could flip over in the cross ties. So as soon as he was like showing me this is really uncomfortable, putting his front feet out there, the whites of his eyes were showing, his neck went straight up in the air, ears pinned back, I loosened the girth and he relaxed. Is it my saddle? Is now what's going through my head. I got the saddle around the same time he started the antibiotic for Lyme disease. The vet said I could continue to ride him. There wasn't any reason why I couldn't continue to ride him. So I was testing the new saddle and things seemed to be going really well. And I've actually noticed he moves more freely in his shoulders. I run my hand under the bar. There is even contact completely under the bar of the new saddle versus the old saddle, which I did bring today. It was definitely bridging. It was definitely pinching his shoulders. So I can't imagine that the old saddle felt better to him than the new saddle. But the new saddle is a draft tree saddle. So that means the bar, the bar on my old saddle is a bit more upright, kind of like this. So the bar on my old saddle is more like this. It's kind of flatter because he's a bit flatter and wider across his back. But if you go too wide on your bar angle, it can actually put more pressure up near their spine at the top of the bar. And now I'm a little afraid that that might be what's going on. Other thoughts that I'm having are, could it be soreness in a limb? I've gone back and I've rewatched a ton of my videos. I've slowed them down. I've gone frame by frame, looking at the way his feet are landing. He does seem to go toe to heel on his left front foot. With horses, when there's pain in one foot, you can kind of expect to see some weird things going on with the opposite, like the diagonal foot. So his I'm really mixed up. So he's going toe to heel rather than heel to toe on his left front. So his right hind, I'm wondering if there's something going on there with some discomfort. And so he's overcompensating with his right front foot, left front foot. Wow. He's pretty sensitive over his loin area too. That's also not necessarily a new thing for him. He's had some sensitivity back there. I've always chalked that up to him being built more downhill. I've had body work done on him. He's been seen by chiropractors, and just this past August is when I had someone come out and do body work on him, some massage. And I've explained all of this to him, the sensitivity over his loin area and how when he would stop, he would always leave the left hind kind of out farther. He wouldn't come up square under himself. They didn't see anything or tell me anything that was like a red flag of like, oh, this is why he's doing that right here. We've got to fix this. So it's a mystery, and I'm really feeling sad. I'm feeling sad. I haven't really been able to ride my horse and enjoy the spring weather. I thought with a new saddle that would fit him better, we would just be riding more and getting to do, just the things that we've been doing them even better. And like the beginning of April, I really thought, oh man, 70 is not going to be a problem on our first couple of tests. He's just walking so much better. And I haven't even been able to ride a test yet this year. I don't know when I'm going to get to ride a test this year. So let me walk you through the equipment that I have that I'm going to try on him today. I haven't seen him all week, so I don't know what his reaction is going to be to any of this today. He could be completely normal. I have no idea. But let me walk you through the tack that I'm going to try. Then I'll grab him out of the field, and we'll see what we get today. Okay, so this is my new saddle. It's a Circle Y Pioneer Flex 2 with a draft size tree. Yeah, so I think I've had probably close to 10 rides in this saddle. It took me a while to find my balance because the seat is such a different shape than it is in my old saddle. But it's the same size seat, and then the tree is just different. So this is a trail saddle. My other saddle, I believe, is a reining saddle. And then this is my saddle pad. I've been riding Dakota exclusively and consistently in this pad for probably more than 5 years. So it's a diamond wool, and it does have pockets that I can add shims into, and I did find my shims, finally. They were in a place tucked away in like the back of a shed with some random horse junk that I really need to get rid of. So I'm really happy I found the shims that go with this pad if I end up needing to use them. But I really like this diamond wool pad. It does a great job of absorbing the sweat. He seems to go really well in this pad. Seems very comfortable in it. The nice thing is it has a contour up here for the back, and it has wither relief as well. I have 2 girths. So this Feather Flex by Classic Equine is the girth I've been riding him in for like probably the last 5 years or so. You can see the sweat marks there. And it's a nice neoprene. I'm going to do a quick inspection here. Maybe it's something just going on with this girth. Is there anything in here that could have poked its way through? Could be causing him some discomfort. I'm not feeling anything, just some dirt there that I need to clean off. And size-wise, I think this is an appropriate size for him. It's, gosh, can you even read the numbers on these anymore? A 32, a size 32 inch girth. This other girth that I have is a Smart Collection by Weaver. And I had been riding him in this prior to buying this Classic Equine. The only reason I switched is because a person that was working with Dakota at the time recommended this girth. And, you know, I decided to buy it. I don't know that it was necessary, but there you go. This one is a bit bigger. So the Classic Equine is a 32. I don't know that there's even a tag on this one anymore with the size, but you can see it's a bit bigger than the Classic Equine one. This one doesn't have the neoprene. It has more of a wool on the bottom. And then this is my old saddle. This is I always want to call it the wrong brand. It's a Corriente. I always want to say it's a Continental. It is not a Continental. It's a Corriente. It's a reining tree. And, you know, he's been going decently in it for, you know, the 5 or so years that I've had it. Probably just until I was getting the comments from the judges about he seems stiff in his shoulders and could be more free moving through his shoulders. So that's what really prompted me to look for a new saddle. Also, it was giving me a really bad chair seat, so I wanted to find something that was probably going to fit me better. Okay, so I've got Dakota up here in the cross ties. I didn't see anything bringing him in from the field that looked like he was dead lame. He seemed to walk pretty normal, but I'm just going to go through my regular grooming routine with him because he's been fine with that, and then we'll move on to checking the saddles after that. Okay. So, same pad. New saddle. Remember, he was a little flinchy on his withers, so could be that when I cinch him up, it's just pressing too hard down on his withers. Yeah, like he's already kind of, that doesn't feel good. So maybe shimming would help with that. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's see. So this is going to be the classic equine girth, the same girth I've been riding him in for about the last 5 years or so. Okay, and just because the idea of him flipping out in the cross ties makes me so nervous, I am gonna just put him on my lead in case he decides he needs to do something. Good boy. Yeah, he's already like, I don't want you to put that girth on me. Look at his face. His ears are kind of back. It's like he's asking me right now not to do it. And I don't know if I should even attempt it or just go ahead and put the old saddle on, because like, this is not normal. You shouldn't be this sensitive. But I feel like I want to have on camera what exactly he is doing so that I could show a saddle fitter or I could show a chiropractor, like this was his reaction. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Oh, but I'm gonna be really light cinching him up. Not that I do anyway, I don't go cranking up on the cinch, but I'm just gonna go slow so that I'm not encouraging a really dramatic reaction. Okay, so that's not nearly as bad as it was the last time. The last time, it's pretty much the same way I did it. I mean, he immediately shot his front feet out in front of him and was ready to go, was ready to get away. Which, you know, that could have been also, I had him in the cross ties. He could have been putting his neck up and then the pressure on his pole just made him a little bit more tight and anxious. All right, so I'm glad he didn't have a freak out, but we're gonna try the old saddle. If that old saddle is more comfortable for him than this new saddle, I don't even know. All right. Oh, this old one, it's so much heavier. Yeah, and I can never get that stirrup all the way over on this side. Okay, his face already looks like no thanks. Seems not excited about being cinched up in this saddle either. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Put him on my lead. And I can just tell, again, his expression's kind of doesn't look happy. Well, again, that's not, it doesn't seem any different than when I would normally cinch him up. Here comes someone there. Okay. He put his front foot out. Licking, chewing, head shaking. It's not fully parking out, but. So while he didn't have a severe enough reaction, or as severe of a reaction that he's had in the past, I'm still deciding today not to ride. I'm gonna take him out, exercise him, just lunge him. you.